A6 cheese is more A6. They put A6 cheese in here? Like anyone who is relatively new to this game or has been playing the game casually for a while or even hardcore for a while has A6 cheese? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Josh. We have some things to go over. I've seen some things, and I know we just did a tier list video, but I had to double check myself for checking out the Prydwen tier list today, and oh my goodness. Do you need that precious annulith or extra resources to pull right now? Well, we've got the power up you need. Head to U7 Buy, your ultimate gaming hub for safe, fast, and cheap in-game top-ups as well as recharges. From Neverness to Everness to all your favorite titles, we've got you covered. Check the reviews for U7 Buy on Trustpilot. They have an enormously high rank. U7 Buy's Neverness to Everness direct top-up page lets you recharge instantly at a fraction of the cost elsewhere. If you take a look at the official in-store prices and compare them to what you can find on U7 Buy, you can find things at a much cheaper value, going from so expensive to way cheap all at the same time. Plus, with U7 Buy, not only you're going to get these discount, but they'll also deliver it in seconds. And while you're over there, make sure you use my code Josh at checkout for an extra discount off of everything else. This is going to be perfect for last minute pulls, monthly passes, or even surprising a fellow friend. 100% secure payments, instant delivery, and thousands of happy players. Bring the power of purchasing back to you. Click the link in the description and visit U7 Buy, recharge fast, save more, and keep exploring the ever-changing city of Neverness to Everness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Josh. We're checking out, yes, I know, the Prydwen tier list today. And well, I had seen some things on social media, on Reddit and stuff like that, and I couldn't believe it. So we're coming right in here and we're checking the changelog. And the first thing that I wanted to see was that they had bumped the Nolly down a bunch just because like Chaos came out, which I don't understand because it doesn't make any sense here. And you can see that they've already retroactively put her back up in T0. So I want to see what they say in the changelog. This is them putting them back up. All right, here's the V.1 to 2 changelog here. We moved Baiken down. How are we moving so many people down all of a sudden? Like one Lakshana character comes out and we're done being the happy-go-lucky, feels good popularity contest. Everyone's in tier 0 tier list. Now we're moving everyone down to 0.5. Okay, let's check it out. All right, let's check this out. Baiken, 0.5 to 1. He's been slightly lowered, partially due to the amount of effort needed to play him. Doesn't matter. That's why you have an expert tag, right? I don't know, possibly, resulting in an overall lower performance than other alternatives. If you're saying that he's so hard to play that no one can really play him correctly, sure, bud. I'll get. If your dog shit, throw it in there. Okay, I'll give you that one. All right, put him down into the 0.1. This is some. We played the game, we tested the game, we got to level 1. Here's our IGN review. All right, considering that he's a main DPS, he wants all the same support members that Lacrimosa does. Yeah, dude, bro. So does Chaos for the most part. Cheese, Lacrimosa. Every main DPS basically wants like the 2 supports that are like, we have Sakiri, Haniel, Junwan Gunmom, and like 0 in Hattori. Like there's like 4 supports in the game, bro. There's like 4 of them. All right. Anyway, I'm really feeling it today, if you can't tell. Sure. Great. That makes them worse because apparently nothing changed. Great. Lacrimosa takes better advantage of them for now. Great. So then he's a 0.5. It's for now. He still has a solid role as a sub DPS on Lacrimosa team. So you can play him on a Lacrimosa team. You can play him with the same supports as a Lacrimosa team. Isn't that just like what the definition of a 0.5 should be? I don't know why we moved him down. We moved him down for fun. We wanted to change stuff on the tier list, I guess. Drop a like on the dude. I'm gonna go through it on this video. You need to drop a like. Let's see what happens. Actually, I've heard the word on the street. All right, put one on there. All right, Chaos tier 0 limited. I expected him to be up here. He's great. We talked about it when I did a reiteration on what we think is going to happen to the tier list a couple of days ago before he came out. Our first limited Lakshana main DPS has arrived. He's a strong addition, makes use of the Remora reaction to deal huge damage if you have a certain character in your party. If you're the type of person who likes to chase big numbers and you have a certain character in your party, he's the guy for you. One big number to be specific. If you have a certain character in your party, his team flexibility is not as high as some other units because he needs a certain character in your party. I knew this was gonna happen, man. All right. Requiring a Cosmos character and Hathor. Yes. He is tier 0 with Hathor and definitely like a little bit lower without her. Like Hathor like is like ×4 damage to his Remora damage. It's a huge number. It's a huge number. The Remora buff from Hathor's passive in conjunction with Chaos's passive makes him do huge damage. He's by far the best DPS at utilizing charge team supports in Hanyul, though. I mean, that's debatable, right? I'm running what charge team am I running with this guy, and I'm not using Hathor. You know, so like what? You take Hathor out of the charge team, the old charge team that we still have up here, the old charge team. Oh shit! Look, we talked about, okay, it's A6 cheese hyper now. This wasn't here a couple of days ago. It's the old charge team, but apparently you drop cheese out of it and you put him there. They're both the best characters in the game. Crazy. And Hathor's in both of them, and Hathor's T.5, even though she's in 2 tier 0 teams. Very interesting, bro. We don't even follow our own logic sometimes. Cheese. Now, we have shifted around the Awakenings and removed A0 since a lot of day 1 players have reached A3 cheese. Yep, and new players now have more options to use her than just her and Nanali. A6 cheese is more A6! A6! They put A6 cheese in here? Like anyone who is relatively new to this game or has been playing the game casually for a while, or even hardcore for a while, has A6 cheese? My man bought every mansion in the game, has every car known to man, has put 98 million fonds into there. We're A6 cheesing. We cannot put A6 cheese on here. All we did, A3 cheese used to be T0 and A0 cheese used to be 0.5. We just swapped them. You can go back and look at my old, they just literally changed the Awakening numbers and left them in the same slot on the tier list. What? Dude, come on, bro. I know we gotta get the content out. I'm making content right now. But like, brothers, come on. Okay, Daffodil 0.5 to 0.1. Daffodil's been moved down to emphasize the difference between her and the limited DPS. She's able to keep up with some of that A2+. She does not compare A0 as a main DPS and only really fits in a lot where most of quick swap teams as a sub DPS. She's a sub DPS character. Nothing really changed for Discord teams. If she was going to be moved down to T1, she should have been moved down to T1 when Lacrimosa came out. She goes back up to 0.5 where she should be. Nothing really happened. Nothing really changed. None of these characters, like by King, really needed to change. Nothing really changed that much. What really happened, and you can go watch my video, is a couple characters get moved up because they're just better because chaos exists. No one else really gets worse. Here's the one I came here for. Nanali, T0 to T0.5, which, whatever. If you want to make an argument that she should be a T0.5 character because she's just a main DPS character or whatever, then you can make that same argument for like chaos and cheese and all these other characters that she'll fall off over time. Nothing in this patch changed how viable Nanali's teams are. Her Blossom teams are still just as good as they were before. And in fact, she's Anima, so she's on this side of the Cosmos element and wants to interact with certain things over here up to a certain point. And Chaos is on this side and wants to interact with certain things over here. They have a little bit of overlap in who they use for the middle partner, right? But no. All right. We didn't think it would happen so soon, and yet here we are. Hada is known for power creep more than some other companies. Bro, who threw this dig in there? That doesn't need to be in a tier list. No one gives a like, even if it's true. I played Tower of Fantasy for a little while in the GL version, the global version when it came out, and that was true. Because they were trying to catch us up to like Korea or China or whatever really fast. And I quit that game pretty fast because it got kind of boring. I ain't gonna lie. But bro, this is NTE. This has nothing to do with any other company, any other game, anything. You're making a tier list for a game, for a title. You don't need to throw this fucking dig in here. Holy crap. And with multiple main DPS being released since launch. One, 2? I guess two's multiple. I guess two's multiple technically. All right, then throw it in there, whatever. And with multiple DPS being released since launch, it has resulted in her favorite Ichidame being outclassed in some aspects. Okay, name them. Which ones? While her overall navigation is still peak, Lacrimosa and Chaos both want the supports in sub DPS that would typically pair with the Nanali and have both a better performance as well. Bro, Nanali has a hexed, like you can be played with Blossom and stuff and hexed as well. Doesn't mean that she falls down just because someone else exists. The exception's the Blossom team with Hattori, but that is more of a Hattori's team anyway. It's true. I did talk about that in my tier list video when we made a tier list video after Lacrimosa came out. But I don't think it makes her an overall worse character. It's just this game is great in the way that multiple things are filling niches and roles, and each character that's come out for the most part has made other characters better. And I did talk about this too, only when I started to be like, I don't understand why we have a character like Aurelia, whatever, dude, Octopus Mom, Jellyfish Mom, when they had her in T1. Now they're moving her down to T2. While she is still the strongest main DPS of all A rank characters, it is hard to justify putting resources into her when other main DPSs will provide a better result. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't care about the rest of this. Oh, easy to play solo clear towers. We talked about that. You can make any main DPS character solo clear tower. I always put Aurelia down in like T2, not for these reasons, putting resources in there, but every Aurelia team that you made was this other thing. It's like, oh, well, the Aurelia team's literally just a Bi-King team, but without Aurelia. The Aurelia team's literally just a Lacrimosa team, but you swap Lacrimosa for Aurelia, right? Where it was, she was like the Mint of Psyche characters, except Mint could actually slot into a solid team that wanted an anime main DPS. You would just slot Mint into teams with where Nanali should be. You didn't get her, you could put Mint in there, and that is what Aurelia was for me, and that's why I had Aurelia and still have always had Aurelia in T2. Doesn't mean she's a bad character, it just means that like she's like she's a couple of tiers below like the 5-star main DPSs. Same with Mint, right? If you wanted to use her, you could use her, you could do cool things with her, but she's just not even close. Because you got to remember this T.5, listen, I get there's a line here where characters are put and exist. It's not a whole number. T.5 to me, T.5 and my stuff is, you're not a core character like T0 where like I'm making a team who's the best X element character that's a main DPS or a support or whatever that does this job. Who's the best one, and they're auto locked in there. If you name a character that's an auto lock for you, they go into T0. If someone doesn't necessarily auto lock in a team comp, they go into like 0.5 or 1. And if it's someone that's like, I could force it to happen by using all the other characters, they're a T2, right? And that's what she's always been for me. So like, you know what? We got something right. We finally put her down where she belongs. Now, let's read the backup, dude, because they have since then put Nanali back up into T0. And oh my goodness, this light is starting to get to me. All right. Nanali and Blossom will be returning to T0 from T0.5. What is this, Avengers Doomsday? Nanali and Blossom will return to Avengers Doomsday today. Patch 1.1 brought Lacrimosa and Chaos to the roster, with both delivering higher damage output than Nanali and Blossom in early testing and calculations. Sure. I bet, dude. I bet when you have the right build and the right stuff, and your blossoms, your little pistols are hitting for like 7-8K, each blossom spawning 2 blossoms every time you do the cycle, and then shoot 10 times for a grand total of like, I don't know, anywhere between like 140 and 180,000 damage every time you did a blossom reaction. Sure, man, I bet. This means that if you have all the limited characters released so far, it may be preferable to prioritize Lacrimosa or Chaos teams for optimized runs. It's just spending your resources. Bro, they ain't gonna, even if they are a little bit ahead, they ain't that far ahead. All right. It ain't uprooting the whole team. Especially when you look at like, bro. Oh hey, T0 Hattori Blossom. She's oh look, we got some Blossom action in here too. Come on, brother. A6 she's okay, but all right. However, she remains a core part of the Blossom team. She isn't necessarily a core part. She is the main on-field DPS character. You can swap her in with some other stuff still, but like I was saying in my video, you can also build a Hex team around her. You can build like a Hex team with Haniel to pump out extra damage that way. She does a lot of good things for you in that design. Prydwen tier list aim to represent the current state of the meta based on testing and calculations, but also must be a resource that high-end players in the community find acceptable to share when seriously discussing the meta. Brother in Christ, that is never going to happen. It is never going to happen. It is too nuanced for that to happen. It is too nuanced, right? Especially when you start off with like all of the characters shoved up to T0.5, whatever, and people are like, I don't know, I don't understand them. Shove them down a little bit, and you're like, nah. And then nothing really changes. Chaos comes out, and apparently every other character in the game got worse. Now, they already had Hathor in 0.5. I think Hathor is a 0.5 character now, specifically because of Chaos. Before Chaos, I've had her in 1. I would put her there. This cheese nonsense, I'm not even going to talk about it. We're not discussing that in this video, right? Chaos, I think he's 0 for sure if you have Hathor. If you're not using him with Hathor, he falls pretty substantially down in the damage that he's doing with his Esper cycle reaction, Remora bonus from his first passive in conjunction with hers. Extending the duration of Remora extends the damage. He gets a massive damage bonus from that. And we're working on like the best guides and builds for him as well. We already went over the best teammates, and I'm pretty sure we were 100% correct on all of them because we're just cool like that. Jinwan needs to be up in 0. She is the core member of Blossom teams instead of Nanali. If you want to argue that they both are, fine. But Jinwan, Gun Mom, is Blossom core team member. She's got crowd control, like one of the 3 characters that has grouping in the game. Excellent off-field damage. Doesn't demand that she needs to be on field to do stuff like Nanali does. As you can see by your own logic, you have this girl in at least 2 different T0 teams following your own logic. Man, put him up in just this. She's randomly chilling in not a Cosmos team, according to you, dude. She's just hanging out by King Firefly Hyper 0.5. He's got a 0.5 team, and he's a tier 1 character. Okay. Haniel and Sakiri, good to go. You did that there. Hard to mess up. 0. Hotori, hard to mess up there. Hathor, yeah, by King, boot him back up to 0.5. Bro, he's got grouping and crowd control in his kit as well, and you can spam that. You just go, you just hold the button down, and he goes and sucks them in for you, and then just destroys everybody. Daffodil needs to go back up to 0.5. Fadia, I have her in 0.5 now because there's a lot of stuff if you have the teams to put her together with. You can do like double Psyche, double Chaos now, and just make full use and advantage off of her. I wanted to say Esper Remora, which isn't even a thing. Her Nova enhancement that just does max HP based damage in an AoE. You just do Lacrimosa, Haniel, Fadia, and throw in Daffodil if you want, or if you don't want to use Daffodil, you can put Sakiri in there as well, and just chain into Fadia over and over and over. Just do big AoE damage. It's fun for everybody. It's a good time out there. Adler, yeah, we'll hang out with that, and the rest of this looks good. But oh my god, bro, this knee-jerk reaction stuff, dude, it's fine, bro. It's fine. It's not a big deal. You let me know what you think about this down below. Am I overreacting? Do we underreact? I'm not too sure. God bless out there. I'll catch you guys in the next one.